especially the Meshi.io site, the Layify.io site, and the Service Mesh Pattern site. Make sure to check them out. Also, make sure to join this.
We might have lost him.
I think he got disconnected.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's what happened. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens if you press the power button like that. You can't. Oh man! All right. Well, good. Hey, by the way, so hey, nice to see everybody. Ishan's apparently he's got a fast boot time on his machine.
I just got kicked out of the meeting, I guess. Hello.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, it's fine. Cool. Yeah. Did Shadia hear me right? Or
Yeah, I think so. I by the way, I want to jump in for a second just because I was a little bit tardy and didn't necessarily hear if well
It's Claudia.
Oh, Claudia.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, boy, I want to say the D for sure. Claudia.
It's Claudia. Yeah.
Claudia.
Like Claudia. Almost.
Is it like Claudia, like CLAUDIA?
Yes. BIA. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm writing that down. Oh, cool. Hey, yeah, thanks for coming, Claudia. Boy, isn't it nice and awkward? You get put on the spot. You just joined the call. Like, hey, who are you? What are you doing? Tell us your life story.
That's awful. Yeah, I don't want to. No, it's good. Yeah. So yeah, I've been encouraged to join one of projects that are available, but most of them have a very closed community or either a very big one, so you get lost. So yeah.
Yeah, where do you even start? Sometimes maybe it's easy enough to contribute to the large projects like in code maybe, but well, sometimes not. I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think the hardest thing is to find the right one. So.
Yeah. There's a ton of them out there. Not all of them actually take a moment to do what we're doing right now, which is just, oh, Claudia is here. We should probably say hi and make sure she feels welcome. And we awkwardly break the ice with her initially so she can get comfortable very fast. That's good. There's hopefully there's a gal in the community. There's a bunch of gals in the community, but one of them is Antoinette Caldwell, and I don't know if she had reached out after you initially joined Slack, but I think she's keen to get to know you and help you get introduced to the projects. And so,
okay, that would be great. Yeah.
Oh, nice, good. Well, hey, outside of this particular call on Mondays, there's a couple of other calls. One of them is one on Thursdays. It's a newcomers call. If you haven't been yet.
I've seen that, but I just joined on Friday. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect. It's very good of you to jump into this one. So that's wonderful. In the Thursday one, you get kind of this whirlwind tour of all the projects and where to get hooked in and stuff. And so, good. Nice to have you. Thanks for helping me with your name too. I'll, for my part, I promise to help other people with your name as well. Cool. All right. Well, good. Well, hey, but my name is Lee, by the way. And so I'm going to be quiet now and stop interrupting Ishan as he was trying to get us up and going. So.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Lee. So I think another newcomer joined the call, but I'm not able to see his name for today. So let's continue. Let's start with the agenda items. First one being GoToMe's patterns in action page. GoToMe, would you like to start with your topic? I believe he's on the call.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, so bot me if you're on the call and are able to do audio, we can chat through some of the design work that you've been considering for service mesh pattern site. I know he's got, I think for sure what BotMe has is a note taker, Fireflies. And so he might have that here because maybe he wants to review the notes of the call. So I think it's a bot that just takes notes. And so maybe we'll circle back in case he joins a little bit later. We can circle back even if he isn't here to try to answer some of the questions that he has about that design.
Yeah. So we are coming back to this topic later then?
Yeah, if you don't mind. That way, like we'll go answer the question anyway, but maybe by the time that we do, he'll be here. So.
Okay, sure. Next we have these two topics, which are, I believe, the topics from your last meeting, Lee. Would you like to talk about them, or
Oh, okay. Yeah.
do I skip?
Yeah, I think this one here is probably in reference to single category on layer 5 IO. And so I'm going to move that to wherever layer 5 IO is.
Right.
And I'll suggest this, that maybe if we go a little bit out of order today, if we perhaps if Krishna Gupta leads us off with things on Meshri IO, and that'll give
That'd be great. That'd be great. Krishna, would you like to start off with your topic of the Meshri IO integrations homepage?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I made a section for the integrations on homepage, and the 3JS 3D is removed from the homepage.
Would you like to share your screen, or should I share?
No, it's fine. You share.
This is the section you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, Krishna has removed the one which we had on the homepage, scrolling in and out. He has basically restructured it to a prettier version and an optimized version. Does any of you have any feedback for Krishna, as this looks good, at least?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things to say on this, on the integrations and how they are represented on Meshri.io and on layer5.io. So, in part for all of us to kind of refresh a little bit, for the Meshri project, it's management software. And the greater number of other things that it manages, in part, the greater value that Meshri as a project provides to users. And so the fact that it integrates with as many things as it does is a prominent feature set to highlight for users. If a user is using, AKS right at the top left-hand corner, what does it mean that Meshri integrates there, and what value does it provide? The nice thing about this type of a layout is that if people are quite familiar with the logo of software that they're using, their eyes can, train to find their integration. If they're not familiar with that, like that purple set of containers, for example, representing AKS, then they may have a hard time finding it. These might be in alphabetical order, although they're not, or you can tell now, or you can tell. There's no search, and I don't think there's a sort or other filters. And I don't know that we necessarily need all of those things, maybe. if you hover over the top left-hand corner, AKS again, it flips over and gives you what it is in case you weren't quite sure. So the user can kind of go through this process of discovery. Although, it doesn't say Azure Kubernetes services. So if you're not using it, you still might, even when you hover, you still might not know quite what that is. So anyway, just mostly throwing out some thoughts for people that are here that might want to suggest ways to overcome some of this stuff. So most of you are familiar with the fact that Meshery.io runs on or uses Jekyll as a framework. And Jekyll has, well, a lot like other static site, oh gosh, what do you call them? Static site generators. Like a core, one of the more powerful capabilities within each of the generators are things like a collection or something like a data file, which is just to say, you might have basically, it's kind of like having database records, or I'm sorry, table records in your database, where you have tons of integrations. They all have common attributes. So you iterate over, you put those all into a collection or into a data file. So like one file or many files, and it kind of doesn't matter to a static content generator like Jekyll. You load those up and it iterates over them. And then in this case, what it does is puts them into what I assume is a div, an HTML element, styles them, adds some nice shading, and then adds a transition on hover, and does all those things. And it'll just, you just write that formatting code once, and it iterates over the collection, and pretty soon you have 100 or however many of these boxes. Anyway, so there's client side or JavaScript based search as well. So if you feed different search libraries, if you feed them a JSON file or a data file, a collection like this, it can then very quickly provide client-side search. And we've implemented that on Layer5.io on a number of the pages. Layer5.io runs on a different framework, very similar in nature, but that one's called Gatsby, and it's React-based. Both types of sites, actually, I guess I'll ask you, Krishna, I know you've got some work that you were doing on docs.meshery.io. So the sibling site to Meshery.io, the docs.meshery.io. And as you were going over it and kind of giving it a major cleanup as well, in my mind, when I think of like Jekyll collections, or well, rather, let me say this differently. In React, you often make any number of reusable components. And in my mind, to compare it to Jekyll, which is an older, I think it's older. It certainly feels older, like it's an older static site content generator. I can't remember what you call that, but it has includes, this concept of includes, that's pretty similar in my mind to components. So Sean, if you don't mind, if you navigate to docs right there, and so Meshery.io is one site, it's on Jekyll. Docs.io is a different site, it's on Jekyll. There's some history and reason as to why those two sites are separate. They don't necessarily need to be separate though. I'll toss that out there in case that, it's fine that they are. But as we look at this, like, Sean, if you were to click on AKS under supported platforms, I guess staying with the AKS theme, there, I think
on the Meshery page.
Yeah, or pretty much just click around like on. Oh no, on the docs page.
Okay.
That's another.
Oh yeah, I got it.
So here, where it says prerequisites, you can deploy Meshery onto a bunch of different platforms. Great. Well, for most of them, we generally encourage users to start off with Meshery CTL, the command line client. So that prerequisites box it is a Jekyll include, meaning it's just an HTML snippet, and it just describes prerequisites, and that's it, like the single step. And that HTML snippet is put under includes, and then you can use it as a component, like reuse it across a bunch of different pages. And that's what's happening here. And so why am I going over all this? Mostly to say, as you look at those integrations, it's the same thing. When you have a collection of something, that's more or less the core construct of Gatsby and of Jekyll, is the fact you want to iterate over a collection of things and then display that, do different things with them. In this case, there's a collection of, collection of supported platforms. There's a collection of adapters. There's a collection of integrations. So that's why I'm talking about this. Is on the Meshry.io site, we talk about the high number of integrations. The fact that Meshry supports these, interacting with and helping manage these types of software here, or these other projects, that's not well represented in Meshry docs. The same, but these are both Jekyll sites, the same YAML files, the same data files can be used interchangeably. Ultimately, what we would probably ideally be able to do is when a user hovers here and they were to say, oh yeah, AKS, I use that. And right now they can't click, but in the future, hopefully they'd be able to click and they'd be taken to the docs page for AKS. And having a foreign key relationship, like being able to point programmatically, create all those links and share the same data files between sites is not difficult. And so, yeah, there's a bunch of things I said in there. One, we don't have links for people to click on. Two, we're using acronyms in some places we don't spell it out. Three, there isn't a search necessarily. There aren't filters, or you can't sort, and we don't have to do all those things that people, if you go to the Layer 5.io website, Krishna or Ishan, that site will probably be looking at integrations over here. This site represents not just Meshry, but all of the projects that people do. The integrations that Meshry has is prominently represented here. This is the same list of integrations. There's a skewed Terraform on the bottom row. We should, Gaurav, do you mind taking a note about that bug?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've already opened an issue for the same.
Oh, nice. All right.
Great.
Anyway, the same ones were represented here. I think each of these are clickable here. So if you randomly click one, you should go to this intermediate page that gives you a brief description of the value that, how it is that Meshry integrates. And hopefully at some point, so Botany, when we look at the patterns in action on the Surface Mesh Patterns website, if you wait, Ishan, before you go, if you scroll down a little bit, below the hero section, this how it works. Right there. We have a bug. Right here is how it works. This is the inaction. Like this is similar to what we would want to have on the Surface Mesh Patterns site. And so, by the way, there's a bug that we need to look into here. If you refresh your page, it wasn't that it only halfway loaded or something like that, because there should be a carousel. Yeah, there's something going on.
I think there's something. I'll just select a different integration. We don't have a hero section for the individual pages.
So the bug on the other page is that there should be a carousel right there. See in action. Wait, stop moving. Right there. See it in action. This is a carousel that users can look over multiple screenshots. And so on the other page that you were on, it wasn't displaying like this. That's the bug that I'm referring to. But if you scroll down to related integrations, what's happening here is that if in this case you're on AKS again, what should be, if you, stay here. If you, as a user, as they're visiting any given integration and looking a little more in depth at it, the related integrations is supposed to be just that. Like, it's supposed to be a filter applied to, I think in this case, it would be platforms. So yeah, if AKS is in, this is what it should be filtered on related integrations. And botany, think about it, we should have just a single height, like basically the same view that we have on layer 5 IO, the main page, we would probably put here, have it filtered on the related, filtered on the same category that integration is within. We would have a see all integrations button though as well, so that users can ultimately go to, okay, good, man, boy, I just started talking about integrations and we just covered all kinds of things, so.
Yeah, it's fine. And since we are on the layer 5
Okay,
page,
I'll be okay.
Oh, sorry,
Send me
continue,
the
continue.
link to this one, please.
I'll paste the link in the chat.
Yeah, botany, say it again. No one could hear you.
Okay, I have the link already. I just want to go through the page. Because I've already made a design, but with the explanation you just gave now, at least I know some corrections I need to make. But I'm going to present what I have already for now, when time comes.
You can do it right now. I mean, this topic is just over and you can just start with your topic if you want, if you're ready. Gotten me? Meanwhile, there is this issue we actually have. So as you can see, like we were talking about layer 5, Lee was talking about layer 5, and you
Okay.
can,
Let me try.
sorry, what you want to go ahead with your issue?
Okay, for the pattern in action. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. There is some issue with his broadband, I think.
Okay. I would like to share my screen and make some.
Yeah, please do that.
Nice. Cool.
I think his internet connection is, yeah.
Well, yeah, in the meantime, you were going to share on a different issue.
Yeah, about the site and search engine optimization. Make do I do that or let's wait for?
Yeah, I think he's stuck near as I can tell.
Okay, then I'll quickly talk about the. So as I was talking, you guys can see
Okay,
that we. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I don't think he's actually back. Like, I think it's just.
Yeah, it got stuck again.
Just imagine how frustrating it is for him too, because.
Yeah.
So since
Hello?
go ahead, Botany.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Almost.
Hello?
Here it comes. It's almost there, and just a itty bitty bit, just a little bit more.
Okay.
Itty bitty
Okay.
bit.
Based on the request,
We got it. We can see it now. Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
okay. So based on what I have here, then I can move forward with it. So coming an overview, I create an overview, just like a written overview, which is the content I request for in the first place. I'm still trying to add something to show that this is the video of how it works. Then I show the sign of the different patterns that can easily be imported into like the catalog, the overview of the catalog, action to try the mesh map. Hello?
If you could, yeah, if you
Hello?
could try showing the your design again, like zoomed out view, we can understand your design better.
Yep.
Are we
Yeah,
all?
you guys, hey, yeah, it's not happening today. Hey, Botany,
Yeah.
apologies. We'll have to let me present on your behalf, perhaps fill in some words that you might have said. Your voice is going in and out, in and out, in and out. And so no way in the world with you sharing your screen is that going to improve your bandwidth. So Botany, I know you've got fireflies in here, so hopefully you can rewatch the recording later. And I think you've asked, so for everyone's familiarity, if you're not quite familiar, there's a fairly pretty site, save for the fact that we put some ugly pictures up of people, but there's this site about, it's a little off, about a book that's being written on service meshes, and it has a bunch of patterns in it. And really the point of this particular site is to, help people get utility out of the book. And it has about 30 patterns. Each of the patterns you can take and import into Meshery, and Meshery will help you explore the pattern. And there's an emergent catalog of patterns that, of the 30 or more, there's a bunch more to be put into this catalog. So what we want to do is have a page called Patterns in Action, where people can go and they should be able to do things like understand what I just said. So how to import patterns into
Hello?
how to import patterns in. Hey, Botany, hey, you keep going in and out. So I'm going to keep talking because it's kind of like the 10-minute rule when you're waiting for a professor.
Okay.
It just, it's got to be frustrating for you. How to import patterns into Meshery is one thing. Botany, I know I've explained this page. You can ask Nikhil, I'm not sure, 12 times, 15 times, I'm not sure, like a lot of times. And that's why I explained it again when you had asked a little while ago about what it is that needed in here. And so when you asked again, I wasn't quick to respond because I figured like that hopefully is relatively obvious. Like it's kind of the main point of the site. It's like, this page says what patterns are in there and what are those, just a brief description of what the patterns are about. This one says, if you want to get your hands on them and actually try them, this is what you do. So how to import patterns into Meshery, where to find the patterns in the catalog, how to import into Meshery, what it looks like, a video recording of what it looks like to have imported and to be able to edit a pattern, edit the design. So video recording of mesh mat. That's about it. Like, it doesn't have, like, people might want to export their designs or publish to Meshry catalog, but just so long as we have links that point them to the catalog, they can comprehend how to do some of these other tasks from there. And so, Bhatmi, if you could hear me throughout that, is there anything else you want to explain about your approach to the design?
Okay, so you say I should add how to import patterns into the Meshry, right?
Yeah, either that, or if there's
Hello?
a link that answers the question, whether you're directly answering it with the information on the page, or just there's a link that says how to do it. And so this is probably satisfies that need.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, so what you've got is, pretty
I'm
good.
having bad internet down here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said I'm having a bad internet down here. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes your voice is breaking.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I understand. Hopefully Fireflies will help you. So Ishan, just so that everyone here doesn't go insane and isn't tortured more than they are about the bandwidth issue, let's go to the next topic.
Yeah. So yeah, as I was trying to explain my topic, again, we can see we do have some optimization problems on the homepage of layer5.io. Like when you load up the site for the first time after, like, when your cache is cleared, it takes a huge lot of resources and other stuff to load the site, especially the integration section. And that is mostly because of the large amount of images on the integration section. As you can see, it is a little bit laggy even now, like if you hover over the icons. So we do have 2 issues open for the same, and I don't think there's anyone assigned to them as of now. And you can also go to, again, this site called pagespeed.web.dev and see how your site is doing. So when Lee opened up the issue, the rating was 31 and now it's down to 24. So we need a volunteer who can implement all these diagnostics one by one and try to solve, or not all, if not all, then almost, like, try as much as to implement these issues that have been listed by this site. And we do have 2 issues open for the same. If anyone is interested in this issue, make sure to message in the website channel on Slack, or write your name beside the open issues 3366 in the meeting minutes. I believe it's there. Oh, no, it's not. You can just open up a new line here, and if you're interested, write up your name.
Sean, this is an important enough topic that we should probably really spend a lot of time on it. It's I don't know if you all know this, but the performance of the site will certainly affect the rankings of the site. So the domain authority for layer5.io had been in the low 40s. The domain authority being just, from 0 to 100, how it ranks. And that's a combination of many factors, but one of the factors is performance. And to have a 24 is uncomfortable, to say the least. It's not good. And it will definitely, and now we're at a 36 domain authority. So like I can only imagine that it is impacting the discovery of the work that people are doing here. It's impacting people finding the work. So the largest contentful paint at 9 seconds, that's pretty bad. There is a short video on the homepage that will load for desktop users, not for mobile. And in this case, in the tree map below and the screenshots that are down below, you can see it's actually loading up the mobile version. So I don't know that even the largest piece of content, which is like a 4.5 megabyte video, I don't know that that's affecting this or not. Let's talk about this. Let's go through this. So Harshit, you asked, hey, what about, there's some snafus or some caveats with SVGs, static images, and how to make sure that we're getting the most from cached content in the user's browser by reusing the same reference to the same piece of content. There's some things to talk about. Nikhil, did you want to maybe speak to Harshit's question?
So the use with Gatsby images in case of SVGs is the way Gatsby images handle SVGs. Like the thing is, by default, Gatsby images will optimize everything to WebP or the best format, which is supported by the current browser that you're using. In our case, it's WebP. We can switch it to AVIF or some other latest format that we want to. It depends upon us. But the thing is, the gist is if your browser supports that format, it will optimize the image to load in that particular format. And with the case of SVGs, how it goes is SVG, if we are using SVGs, then I think it's the best format then we could use for that particular image possible. And if we switch to WebP, for example, the quality degrades a bit. That's the first point. And the second one being the issues around CSS, like how Gatsby handles CSS for case. The stylings for images is pretty weird, I would say. Like they wrap around multiple divs around a single image element that doesn't make sense, but that's how the plugin is. So, and the way CSS is done for them, overriding it for every image possible is a very difficult scenario and makes the job very, tiresome. That's the reason we avoid using Gatsby images for SVGs, so to say. And even the component that we use, like we are overriding the Gatsby images plugin, so to say, in our code base. For example, we are fetching the images from the MDX file or assets folder, so to say. So the component has been overridden in such a way that if it finds an SVG, then it will render just an image element and not render the Gatsby image component. So in all, we are avoiding the Gatsby plugin totally for SVG images. I'm not sure about this plugin which you have shared, Gatsby plugin React SVG, but I don't know what it does better apart from rendering an SVG image.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the plugin about Gatsby SVGs. So I mean, I have not. I think this is something new plugin. We can try this. I mean, I got you that Gatsby images will not work, but yeah. This. What about this plugin? Do you know about this Gatsby SVG plugin? I just seen.
No, I haven't seen this earlier. So again, my question is, from what I can see, it renders an SVG only, right? So how is it different from rendering an SVG directly?
I don't know actually. I just seen this SVG, but yeah, I think I have to check this out. I mean, I can only. I mean, there are very less solution for this kind of task, but yeah, I mean, I will check this out then.
Okay. The desktop side performance is pretty good that we have seen in the past as well. It's mostly above 90. The number varies based on your internet connection probably. Sometimes you will see 97, 90, 95. It varies a lot, but it's generally above 90. But in case of mobile view, it degrades by a great amount. It has been around 30, 40, In the past, it has been around 60 or so, but yeah, mobile view takes a hit a lot. Not exactly sure what is causing the issue. We have been suffering with it for a long time. So yeah, if anyone has any ideas or anything they want to share, the stage is yours.
Yes, yeah, when we look at the worst issues, or the ones that the challenges that are the most impactful, those are the ones to focus on at first, because you will get the most bang for our buck. First contentful paint at 1.9 seconds, largest contentful paint. Gosh, so first contentful paint. The site itself like goes through and gives you very specific suggestions in some areas. Okay, so resources are blocking the first paint of your page. Consider delivering critical JavaScript or CSS inline and deferring all non-critical JavaScript and styles to later. So they're highlighting our use of this Open Sans font. Well, I'm not sure what they're saying to do other than like maybe wait to load it later, subsequently, like after the first. Eliminate render blocking resources. So here, yeah.
So the case with font is we are already using the swap method for loading the fonts. The swap method is basically once the rendering is complete, and then only it downloads and switches, like downloads the font files and updates the font family to that particular font. So I'm not exactly sure what do they mean by doing so. That's the reason it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if display equals swap is what they're pointing to, or if they're pointing to just say, hey, to ensure that this loads subsequently such that the page is drawn with whatever the fallback font family is first, one that might be available natively in most, in all browsers, and then have the font loaded in the background. I'm not sure. I mean, that is more or less what they're saying here is like, hey, resources are blocking the first paint of your page. So the fact that this hasn't downloaded yet is it's blocking. It's not non-blocking. Anyway, I'm going to a different one. So serve static assets with an efficient cache policy.
So another thing I could think of is a potential case on the second.
And normally Nikhil doesn't drop off, or deferring. So Suhail, to your point, like deferring some CSS or eliminating some. Yes, eliminating CSS that we're not using. I don't think that there's a lot of that. Sometimes it's like making sure that we're reusing the same, if we're using icons in different places, that we're reusing the same instance of that icon or that image and not downloading it twice. So if we show Istio as a logo more than once, hopefully we're using the same piece of content. And I believe in this case we are, but there may be any number of other cases where we're not. So anyway, there's a fair bit of info given and suggestions that are given. This isn't the only tool. Page Speed Insights isn't the only tool to do this. There are a number of other tools out there that will help with that will give you suggestions. Here's the Pingdom website speed test. This is used to be a product of mine. And it will do an analysis as well, fairly similarly. It gives a fair bit of helpful suggestions. So anyway, it's worth spending time on. There's a lot to learn, a lot of helpful things to understand as you were to take on one of those issues and work through it. Well, how is it that what does it mean to defer particular portions of your CSS? Like, how do you do that? How would you have control over when some styles get loaded versus others? What is WebP as a format? I'm familiar with JPEG, but what's WebP? And I see that there's these fonts that are being loaded. They're being loaded with Wolf 2. What the heck is that? I've seen True Type font, TTF, or I've seen other things, but what's that? Like, so these things that I'm calling out, they're newer formats, more efficient. Fortunately, most browsers, so long as most browsers will do auto selection of what they can support, and that's helpful. Anyway, there's a lot to learn as you go through, and focusing on the home page is the right thing to do. It's the overwhelming majority of where most sites get their traffic. And so, yeah. So cool. Hey, so speaking of areas that are in need of just speed improvement, one of them, Ishan was highlighting a moment ago, and that's this. It's not the animation and the transitions, it's the way that the HTML elements, the divs for the most part, are being drawn. I don't know if there's like layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, or what's going on with this particular package that we're using to draw this, but the performance is, well, impressively terrible, actually, because it's not like it's that big of a deal that you would have just a grid of logos. They're all SVGs. Most of them are fairly tiny. This is the largest one right here, weighing in at a disgusting like 1/4 meg, like 256K. Why is that? Well, it's because in the SVG, it's having to describe all those different lines crossing. So it's just rather large. And yeah, as it turns out, the distinguished engineer that helped design this at Cisco is a good friend of mine. I think maybe we should take distinguished off the side of his, off this. I don't know if he's gonna have to earn back his distinguished badge. But yeah, anyway, this is another performance, this is another challenge to lay out there, a gauntlet for anyone to come over and pick up, is to rewrite this. And it's actually a relatively easy job. Like, it doesn't look like it. It's pretty neat. It does some stuff when you hover. All that's already written. All the images are already there. All the links are already there. Like, what needs to be done is just, you very simply use CSS to clip, or you just draw a hexagon, but in this case it's sort of shaped like a diamond, and then lay them out next to each other. And when you get up to X number per row at different media queries, you wrap them around. Like, it's not difficult. You actually want to make it as simple as possible. That's I assume what's going on with this one is, well, I don't know, too many layers of divs, too many media queries, maybe not. Man, we have a weird call today. I'm for the most part, for myself, just trying to jump in when we're sort of fumbling over the agenda, or someone not having bandwidth. Or Nikhil, did you want to finish up some of your thoughts on specific things that people might do with respect to performance?
One thing which I'm noticing is even in mobile view, though we are hiding the video for the banner that we are showing explicitly, but I see in the web tools that it is still being downloaded. So I'm not sure if that is one of the major cause for this issue. So somehow I think the one way if anyone wants to try out it could be that they can see how we could block a particular piece of JavaScript code based on the CSS, like basically CSS and JS, so that it doesn't renders when in mobile view. Or if not at all renders, it's not only about rendering, it's about fetching the component, fetching the video source and all. The fetching the video source involves the time, not rendering itself. That's the main area of concern. So if someone is interested, they can take a look, and we could have let's check that. That might give us a big boost to the performance overall, because that's around 2.5 MB. If that gets reduced, see, the issue with cache is that cache it's not in our hands. We can't fix it since we are hosting via GitHub, and GitHub doesn't allow us to fix the cache time. So that particular section has to be ignored and all. So we can ignore that section for the cache, but this thing of the video that we're downloading, probably that is something good that could be investigated.
Nice.
So if we
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
continue. No,
I
continue.
was asking if there is no other topic to discuss. I had one topic. So I think
Yeah, cool. We have Suhail's topic. I think that is most important. Baki, then Arunima's PR is almost ready to be merged, so you can go ahead. We still have around 10 minutes.
okay. So what I was so my topic was regarding the dark mode flash that we are seeing on the layer5.io site. So the thing is, we are using SSR for Gatsby. Gatsby uses SSR, and in case of SSR, fixing the flash is not an option. Like that's the scenario with Next.js sites as well, and people suffer over there as well. So the only two possibilities that I've mentioned on the meeting minutes as well is either to switch to CSR, that is client-side rendering, but that would affect the SEO. It's not like we won't get the SEO at all, but it would be affected to a greater extent compared to what we get for SSR. And the other one is switching to session storage. Now the case scenario with session storage is the user would still see a flash when they reload on the same session, But if there is a returning user, suppose they have set when they were on the page on the last instance, they switched to dark mode, for example. And when they closed the tab and came back again, now this time they won't see a flash, because if the default mode is light theme, then it will render as the light theme only and not a dark mode. But again, I think again in that case, I haven't tested out, but probably again in that scenario, the issue might come is if we set the default theme as dark. Because even in that case, the first instance would fetch the key value pair from the storage, and at that time we would still see a flash. So the best possible scenario is CSR, but there are implications with the C.
Has a cookie been attempted, or is it currently being used?
No, we tried with cookie as well, so that also doesn't fix our issue. The thing is, it's we are using SSR, right? So the page is already generated on the server side, and how cookie works is once we have fetched the resources, after then we are fetching the cookie and checking what's the value, then updating it again. So the flashes would still be there.
I can I also have a one solution. I mean, I don't know it will work or not, but I mean, currently for dark theme, we are actually coloring in our own style, in our global styles for now, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you use the already existing themes, like the theme that provided by the Make style, and if we switch it to the dark theme for that, I mean, if we use their dark theme, we will not get that flash. I think. I mean, I'm not getting in a Meshri. I'm creating a dark mode for that. I'm not getting a flash, any kind of flash. Maybe because I mean we are getting a site is rendering at a very long time. It is a web app. That's why we are getting not getting a flash. But I mean there can be a reason that because we are using the existing make style dark theme, the MUI dark theme. That's why we are not getting a flash.
That could be one solution, but again, there are two possible scenarios in that case. One of them being, I don't think Meshri UI is totally SSR. Like it's a mixture of CSR and SSR. That is the one scenario, and the other one being switching to make styles from the existing style would be a lot of work.
So, is there any, I mean, any theme that provided by the style and the style component or whatever we are using for now? I mean,
Like they don't provide a theme as such, they just provide a higher order component that we could use. Just like make style, it's again a higher order component itself, right?
yeah, yeah. I think the global style that we are using at the top of the page.
Global styles is just a component that again imports a style sheet.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, Krishna, you're audible.
The issue here is only the navbar flashing.
No. The issue is not only with the navbar. The thing is, if you go to the layout.io page, switch to dark theme, and do a reload of the page. That time
Yes,
you will
yes.
notice that initially a page with the light theme is rendered, and then it's quickly switches to dark theme, the one which Lee is currently showing right now. The case scenario with navbar is just a use of CSS transition that could be that could be fixed, but that's not the main issue that we are concerned about.
I think the main issue is that the site is first taking the light theme, the white component, and then it is after some time the reloading and painting it to the black, the dark theme. Uh, I mean, if there is a solution exists that we directly send the dark theme, not color over it, then that's our solution. But yeah, I mean, then there should be a theme that which is originally provided by the some global styles or some that we are originally getting our color from at the first time.
So the thing is, if we intend to switch to dark mode completely, we can set the initial theme as dark mode. Then we could, when the user loads. See, anyways, if we whatever theme we choose, if we choose the initial theme as dark theme, and then when the user is on the page and switches to light theme, and does a reload, then he or she will see a flash of the dark theme and then switch to light. So the issue is applicable vice versa.
Okay.
There's an interesting observation to note here, and that is that maybe this is obvious to others, but to me, if you so blog as a page is well, I don't know. I get here's something, some behavior that's weird. If I visit the blog page, the projects page, or the landscape page, I know that you guys are looking at this through Zoom, so it can be difficult to tell if the screen is flashing or not, but it is not. When I go to landscape, projects, or blog, upon initial load, there is no brief flash of white. When I visit community or learn, however, there is. So actually just understanding why there's a behavior difference between these two and these other three. It's kind of interesting. So one of the, oh, you know what it is? You know what one of the things that might be happening to us is, Nikhil, people love this because it could have something to do with the fact that like a lot of times when you go to a page, you're redirected. There's a quick redirection that's happening to like the trailing slash on the page, like layer 5.io /learn slash gets redirected to no slash. That's nice, I think. Not the end of the world either way. That you would have a slash or that you wouldn't. Most people don't, when they go to the site, they don't like put on the end slash. They just type out what it is that they're going to. They're going to the blog. And they don't type out slash. They just go to the blog. And to the extent that that page, so actually one thing, while you're looking for the white on the page, that flash, while you're looking for that, watch right here and tell me if you see anything. Okay, a second.
That's another. Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. Anyway, seems like that may or may not, that's part of it's. Yeah, there's a portion of redirection in there that may or may not be impacting this have an impact.
No, actually, it's not. The reason I would say, you remember that PR I sent a couple of days back testing out the use of that global option in Gatsby config. So I tested that PR as well locally. I think we have a deploy preview for that. It's closed. I've closed that PR. I use trailing slash, the third one. Do you have a deploy preview? Yeah, we have a deploy preview. The deploy preview doesn't work, like it still gets the slash. So what you are trying to say, we would still be seeing there. So, but I tried it out locally. So we were still seeing that flash, even though we were not getting that extra slash on the end, but the flash was still there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get what you said. It's hard to like. It's still in this. Oops. In this particular test, the redirection is still happening, and so it's hard to disprove that this redirection doesn't have anything to do with the flash.
Right. Though one could also, like, I've tested it locally. So if anyone else wants to try it, their hands-on, they can test out the site locally, like building the build version, the prod version, not the local dev version.
And so in the local dev version, there's no redirection with trailing slash, but
right.
you still see a flash though, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, boy, we're just a little bit over time, but Suhail has an item here. Suhail, do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, should I share my screen?
Go ahead. And also, like, it's bad to put you on the spot, but last time your mic was not working. You forgot to introduce yourself to us. This is the second meeting you're joining. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Just a minute. Yeah, like I have introduced before in the message.
No problem. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with your issue.
Yeah. So, is my screen visible?
Yeah, I can see my face.
Yeah, the issue was given to me in the previous website call related to converting the stack of filters into a carousel.
I can see your screen is actually pointing to the Zoom call. Yeah.
So I have worked upon it. So the deployed version is shown. Yeah, but the issue is like if you go into dark mode, the like the right and the left icon have gone in the dark mode, so it is not visible. But the implementation has been done. Like this issue will be solved. Like it will take almost 2 to 3 days. So if there are any suggestions you all could give, it might be helpful.
I mean, you can try out the theme.md, the docs of the dark theme, and you can check that out. That how can we change SVGs? So that will be easy.
Like the mock-up that was shown in the issue, is it like that only, or some more changes to be done?
So yeah, I believe Casey has given you a huge lot of feedback on the PR. That the individual filters require padding on margins on both sides, and they should be a little separated, as well as the navigation arrows need to be a little uh, appealable, I think. So make sure to check that out if you haven't. He has listed down 5 to 6 points that you should work on the PR itself.
Okay, I will see it here.
Yeah.
That's from my side.
Yeah. Any feedback? Any other feedback for Suhail, guys?
Excited to see this, Suhail. That's great. That's good. It'll be right on the main page. It's a great thing to focus on. There's some good feedback being given. It looks like from Arunima and Casey, and a little more feedback in the Zoom chat as well. So cool.
Cool. We are like 10 minutes over time already. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining. Today we had a lot of people, 16 people. So it was nice. If we are good to go, then we can end the meeting.
Yeah, I think I can show the implementation of the nav menu. It will take 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. You
Yeah.
had your
Just a minute.
Are you sharing a screen, or do you want me to share a screen?
No, I'm sharing the screen. So this is how it looks. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, any feedback on that?
I believe you stopped sharing.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, if you want to share one more time, and Krishna or Sadesh or Gangan Preet, like anybody is welcome to.
Yeah, let me just share the link of the deployed preview in the chat so that everyone can have a look.
No, it's fine. I'll share the screen for everyone.
Yeah, the PR looks fine to me. Just the mode toggle icon needs to be centered.
Yeah, we doing a hard. So the thing about the solid border is to help, like, give shape to the menu, I'm assuming.
Yes, just to highlight that it is a menu.
Yeah. Any opinions here? Are we using a solid border on any of the other elements of the site? maybe not. We might be using shadows in a lot of areas. Maybe a shadow isn't significant enough though to like, the light mode, dark mode switcher seems to be wanting to hug the top of the screen. Maybe, I think that feedback was maybe already given. Maybe it's not vertically centered. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, just this is that mobile nav menu is not in a good place. So thankfully, you're focusing on it. Other things to potentially consider are a slightly off-white background or some other colored background. That would be a different way of hinting to the user, indicating to the user that this is a menu. Just random food for thought.
Okay, so like apart from the border, I should also add the background, right?
Well, let me undercut let me say that those are thoughts for consideration. Like,
Yeah, sure.
it'd be great. Like Krishna, you spent so much time on the site. It'd be great to hear you speak about consistency. And if that design is consistent with the rest of the site, great. If it isn't, is there some way of making it that way? I'm not suggesting that it isn't. I'm just asking the question. We have, I think, small icon graphics in the desktop version of the menu. Here we have plus signs where you click down, just like, maybe that's fine. Maybe the mobile menu is meant to just be, super plain, very functional, just getting people where they need to go. And so maybe that's fine, but not hearing you guys describe any of that stuff makes me wonder if it's been considered. So.
One more thing I just noticed is for the tablet view, we are missing out. Okay, no, it appears the dark mode button. I thought we missed out on that. But yeah, apart from that, one more feedback I'd like to give is that maybe we can shift the dark mode toggle beside Meshery, and the menu can be aligned to the right side of the margin. That would also look good. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe you got your suggestions. Thank you,
Yeah, I
Arunima.
think,
Yeah.
I think the menu can be on the rightmost side.
Yeah. Go
Makes
ahead,
sense.
Gaganpreet, you were saying something.
Yeah, could you just go back to, just open the menu once. I'll just increase the width of the screen, maybe to tablet mode. Okay, yeah. Now scroll the page. So we can see that the menu is it is just a small square or rectangular div, right? But it is coming inside that whole white background. So maybe we can just bring the overlay outside of that whole container. It looks odd, right? This whole white, it is just elongated.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Also, I did try adding a box shadow. It works well. Maybe you can try some box shadow, having some color on all the four sides to highlight the this overlay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of feedback for Arunima. I believe you've been noting down your feedback. Cool. We are like 17. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, cool. So we are like 18 minutes over time. So if anyone, if these topics haven't been discussed, you can discuss them in the Meshery Dev call on Wednesday, because we are already almost 20 minutes over time. So I believe it's time to end the meeting today. If anyone doesn't have anything else to ask, I believe we are good to end the meeting.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I have a small announcement to make. So basically, the Meshri dark mode is completed and I mean it's under review. So yeah, I have a request to all of you to review it and check that out, the dark mode theme, and just also can netpick and suggest some of our colors that you don't like or you like. So it will be very helpful for that. So yeah, I request everyone to just check that out, and it's I mean it will be a great non-code contribution you can make, and it will be very helpful for the community as well as Mashri. So
Cool. I've noted that down. I'll post the link in the website's channel as well as any other relevant channels, Harshit.
thank you.
If anyone else has anything to say, now is the time. You're welcome. Okay, if anyone doesn't have anything to share or say, I think we are good to end the meeting. Thank you for joining, everyone. It has been a long meeting, and yeah, thank you for staying till the last. Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ishan.
bye.
Bye. Everyone.
Thank you, Sean.
Bye.